Pathfinders, we are getting ready to be in Jamaica. What is happening there? To celebrate the 5th Inter-American Division, Camp Paris. You cannot afford to miss it. Please come along. Yes, we're going to have honors. We're going to have a pin trading. We're going to have friendship, social meeting together throughout all the entire territory of Inter-American Division. When? Next year, 2023. You cannot afford to miss it, Pathfinders. Be a part. Come, let's go to Jamaica! Yay, 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 yay!
Hi friends, my name is Alan Parker and I am the Director of the Pearson Institute of Evangelism and World Missions at Southern Adventist University. And I want to share with you an exciting opportunity that will be coming to your church. We will be offering 5 seminars that are going to teach you how to share your faith, how to get Bible studies, how to give Bible studies, how to get decisions in those Bible studies, and also just how to be an effective witness wherever you are. These 5 seminar sessions are going to be held in partnership with the Central Belize Mission Conference, and your church is invited to participate. Don't miss this opportunity that is going to be starting Sunday, October 30 at 9 a.m. And as you come to these sessions, you will hear from seasoned evangelists who will use their many years of experience to share with you the best tools and strategies for sharing your faith. Won't you join us to receive this Bible Worker certification that will be taking place Sunday, October 30 at 9 a.m. right there in your church and in your community. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday, October 30.
Sabbath School members, do you know of someone who is an orphan? November 19th, 2022 is Orphans Day in all the Seventh-day Adventist churches around the world. The orphans in your congregation awaits your love and special ministry to them. Sabbath School Council, begin planning for Orphans Day. It's a ministry of compassion. Orphans will remember your ministry of compassion. November the 19th, 2022, Inter-American Division celebrates with the rest of the world Orphans Day.
Of a youth come alive. Of course, this is your favorite show, and we know that because I know you guys love to see our faces, and that is the truth. But tonight, our topic is about social media and its stereotype. Tonight, I'm your host, Aislinn Moria, and we have our co-host,
Jillian Pascasia. And in the absence of Kayla, we have
Keisha Dennison,
our guest co-host.
and then in the magic chair tonight, we have a special guest with us, and her name is
Juliet Johnson Clark.
Do you want to tell us who you are?
Well, by nationality, I'm Jamaican. Missing my ackee and saltfish. I'm a magistrate as well, stationed in Belmopan.
Okay,
Got
we
the
are
big people.
so, I know we got big people for special guest tonight. But anyways, tonight our topic is a very interesting one, and we're talking about social media and its stereotype. Now, this can be described by people belonging, that's the key word, belonging either to a specific ethnic, cultural groups. We have ethnicity, nationality, age, socioeconomic status, language, what you name it. People just form groups and belong to a group. So I want to first ask our guest. We know we like start off with the guest, and we want to ask her, what does social media stereotype looks like to you?
For me, I think models who have that perfect body, persons who have the sports stars, you know, they have the muscular body, flat tummies that we all envy. And advertisements especially, because you'll have an ad that will pair a product with a beautiful person or a well-toned person, and the message is that if you consume this product, if you use this product, then you will look like that person.
And that is fully deception, because majority of those pictures are edited dramatically. And this is what our young people are looking at. Yes. This is what they're seeing, and this is what they're growing up to. And that is crazy, because they feel like they have to look like that in order for them to be a part of that group.
Yes.
And you know what? It's very heavy weighing on the mind, because let's look at someone in the age range of a high schooler, probably between 13 and 17. You know, you're in that puberty band where there's a lot of changes. You know, you grow up, you grow out, you know, for the females. And society and media gives this big, grand picture of what beauty is and what the standards of body goals should be, and these unreachable standards. And it's honestly tiresome to reach, because yes, we know that the new year is coming very shortly. It's like about 60 days away, thereabout, right? And New Year's resolution, I'm going to go into the gym this year. I'm going to get that flat toned six-pack.
I'm
get
going
the
to get a diet,
big
and I'll follow it
biceps.
to a T.
Right.
Don't lie.
And there's nothing wrong to want to achieve these things for personal health gain, but when it's after vanity, we all know it's because of the social media stereotypes.
Yeah, I was watching this this documentary with the news. I think it was some news in America. They were asking some kids, a set of family, about how does social media affect them, you know? And one of the little girl, she was dark skinned. They had like different shades, right. And she was dark skinned, and she said, "I wish I would see more of me." You know? Wow. And that was very heartbreaking. It broke my heart, because I then remember when the trailer for that the Little Mermaid, yes, came out, yeah. And the people from the other side was being very they were being very racist about who they chose to be the new Ariel. Right. the new mermaid. And just because she didn't look like how the typical, right, so how the typical mermaid first look, they just bashed her to the ground.
That's very funny because a mermaid is a imaginary creature. So who decided
that it's supposed to be white or it's supposed to be black
is
or it's
what I'm
supposed
saying.
to be Indian?
Well,
or
what about the
Chinese?
fairy tale books that we grew up on? When I looked at the pictures when I was growing up, they were mostly white-looking people in my books, and the dolls that we had were white dolls. So I'm thinking perhaps it's coming from there. So when you look and you see a dark-skinned mermaid or a dark-skinned Disney character, it seems abnormal, and perhaps that's where it's coming from.
Right, and that it takes the younger people that wants to be a part of, say, acting.
Yes.
They would divert. That's the word. They would divert from doing so because they don't look like that person.
Right.
And they find all their
Or
faults.
there are very specific roles for people who look like her.
Right.
So when February comes and we have Black History Fine, there's a lot of roles there.
Right.
But for other positive roles for blacks, the media does not necessarily promote those. You don't really find those readily.
And on the point of acting, I remember seeing an interview from Viola Davis, and she said that she and Meryl Streep are practically in the same league, but her paycheck would never be that of Meryl Streep because she's this predominantly white actress, and she has this legendary career. And then when you look at certain movies like the time period of Old Britain, we know that the English are the Europeans and the English are of the white complexion. Sometimes you don't have to be a good actor to get the role, you just have to have the look and it's sealed.
Because they are going to horribly made movies because the actors or actresses aren't good at their job.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, did you really think that was the best person to act that role?
But you know what is sad? It's when they're able to get into your headspace. I mean, I'm no expert, I'm no psychologist, but the truth is sometimes even us, when we see blacks in certain roles, we ourselves are saying, you know, that's not normal, that's not black, that's not how it's supposed to be. And these are stereotypes of what we think certain races or ethnic groups should look like, should do, should behave. So really and truly, when you are able to get into the person's mind and make them accept whatever agenda social media is pushing, then you know it's really serious.
Right. So let me ask the question. Have you ever been stereotyped because of maybe the career that you wanted to go into or something that you wanted to do, or you yourself put your own say no, you don't fit there? Have you ever did that to yourself or been in such a situation?
I have two experiences. One when I was studying law in Barbados. Okay. When I got there and they knew we were Jamaicans, well, one Barbadian actually came to me and asked if I had weed. It was like, I'd never smoked. I was baptized in the Adventist church from I was 8. So they got me really early. And I'm like, why would you assume that because I'm Jamaican, I know weed, I use weed? Like, seriously? So that was really something. I was so shocking because at first I thought, you know, the person was being funny, but then he was quite serious.
Wow.
I'd never smoked, I'd never done any of that all my life. And when I was much younger, because I was really talkative, and when we were having some discussion or other in the Adventist church and I said I wanted to be a lawyer, one of the elders drew me aside and said, listen, you can't be a Christian and be a lawyer because lawyers tell lies for a living. So those are stereotypes that I had to contend with.
I don't have that experience. That's why. But like, because I have a space between my teeth, people always associate it with, oh, you're a liar.
People got space between their teeth.
Or
Liar.
because of the complexion of my skin, oh, you're a liar.
Red woman.
Like, people, excuse. That's very disrespectful. But I've always said, like, whenever someone looks at me and they're like, Makasi, like, yes, I have a sensitive in my teeth. That does not mean I tell lies. I stretch the truth. I don't tell lies.
Okay. Okay. Well, my one, I'm pretty tall at 6'3". No need for, memorize that number. But a lot of people look at me and they're like, if I had your height, and even me, I believe I'm an NBA. I'd be top of the league. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Would you like to trade height? Because it's not a desire of mine, but because you have the figure, they're like, oh yeah, I could see you being a great basketball star.
Can't even throw the ball.
Excuse? I can.
Sorry.
I can.
Sorry. You could dribble? You could dribble the ball?
Next question.
But that is what stereotypes do,
Right,
right?
right,
They group people into
Right.
categories and label them
Yeah, right.
just because of like one common characteristic that they share without really knowing the person as an individual and what their attributes and strengths and weaknesses may be.
Right.
And I think that's the danger.
One of the things that I see we do, and I would say we because when we see a person of color getting the fancy car and the fancy house, and they're just buying what they're just spending and buying whatever they wish, the first thing we think or come to our mind is that person is
That drug playing land.
Right.
that person is selling something that is illegal,
right.
or they're into some illegal things. And we need to stop doing that to our own because we need to not be a part of that community
Yeah.
where we associate ourselves with bringing our own people down. Instead, building them up because one day if I got my big house and my fancy car and want nobody to say I sell nothing.
Right, because I worked my butt off.
Right.
Right, right. And that same stigma and prejudice extends into our police force, regrettably, because if you see someone of the darker complexion driving, let's say maybe a 2015 or newer vehicle and they pull up to the checkpoint, license or registration.
No, pull to the side.
No, exactly, pull to the side. We need to check something out. Pull on the side, right over there. That person could legitimately be a young entrepreneur or someone
Right.
with a high-ranking office position who can afford to purchase that car. But because you look like you're not supposed to be driving that nice 2015,
Right.
pull on the side. We need to talk to you.
It really can be hurtful, because right now in Jamaica, they have a high-ranking JDF officer who has been accused of sexually harassing several females, as supposed over a period of years. And when you go on Instagram, under the article clip, and you read some of the comments, it can be very hurtful for some of the victims because you have persons who empathize, but you have others who are saying, oh, well, you did it willingly, but perhaps you didn't get the promotion. That's the ladies, though. They didn't get the promotion they wanted, and so now you're crying foul. And so it really, sometimes stereotypes can be very painful. We still have this stigma attached to being a victim of sexual or a survivor of sexual abuse. We tend to victim blame and say, oh, well, it's because you didn't get something or because they broke up with you why you're now saying that it was by force. So it can really be painful.
It plays a lot on your mental, and people don't realize how much they affect somebody by wrongfully accusing them of something that they did not do, or because like you're saying, like in the workplace, when somebody think that somebody got that position because of
Bedroom activity.
better way of saying it. And then the person complains to HR about it, and then everybody start to say, oh, you should then, and all the naysayer, and you know what they say.
Yes.
It breaks a person because I know, like we were talking about bullying last week, and we see how bullying can allow a child or anybody of that sort to have anxiety, depression, there's plenty chances of them self-harming.
Some of them actually
commit suicide. And these are things that we see when we make these wrongful accusations or we criticize people in such a harsh way.
We have a comment here, finally, because last week they were a bit nervous in the comment section, I would say. Giles Spencer says, I hear us talking about the prejudices against black people based on the skin color. How about our own folks that treat each other differently, saying, oh, she acts white based on the way she dresses or talks?
Not true, though.
Wow.
I think it's a part of our history that we need to address. Post-colonial societies tend to have that we're grappling with.
Right.
And the funny thing is that sometimes even those who look like you may accuse you of putting on airs because perhaps you had better opportunities, perhaps you made better use of your opportunities, and because we grew up together and know, one of us is in a better position, there is some sort of dissatisfaction with that, and you can find that someone who was your friend or a member of your community suddenly becoming very anti-you because of your achievements.
There's this girl on TikTok. I have to reference TikTok because I just saw it yesterday. There's this girl, I think Nigerian, and she was doing a video, and this girl commented, this clear-skinned girl, commented and said, you don't look like your voice. I was like, what?
How am I supposed to
And
song?
so she was
Stereotype
like,
again.
they told her she sung, Nigerian, but she's living in England, I think.
Okay.
And so she has this British accent, but she enunciates her words properly.
Right.
And so she was explaining to the girl, she was trying to understand why would the girl say such a thing. And I was listening to her, I said, she songs real well. But it's because she enunciates her words and she speaks eloquently. And so I guess she songs of the other. I could never fathom why would people say I don't look like how I sung.
That's funny because yesterday when we had our music class in school, one of the students made a comment about how someone sung, and I say, but what, I don't understand what you're saying. And like, miss, because she not sung like how she talk. I say,
Interesting.
She sings differently than how she talks, that's what you're saying. She's like, yes, miss, I like, you do realize that there are some people who have a very heavy voice, but when they sing, they have a soft voice, and some people who have a soft voice, when they sing, have a very heavy voice. Like, that's a thing, And she's like, miss, well, she not song like that, so that not she. I said,
wow.
Lord, fix it.
No, but it is real.
And she's convinced.
It is real. It is real. My son, I think, as I said again, post-colonial societies, I think we grapple with a lot of this. In my home country, Jamaica, you may encounter a different treatment if you speak patois or Creole than when you speak standard English. And so from I had my son, I made sure that I taught him and only allowed him to speak standard English. And it's like a backlash now because back home, and even now that he's here with me in Belize, people keep asking, where are you from? And when he says Jamaica, they're like, he was laughed at in class, He was laughed at in class because they were like saying, how could you be Jamaican and not know Creole? Like, possibly you're not Jamaican, you must be American or something else. And so that goes to his identity, like you're saying, you're not a real Jamaican because, and he honestly doesn't know Creole. I don't know if I have some regrets, I don't know how to handle it because I honestly do know that there is, even if this is perception and sometimes a reality, that certain opportunities are not given to persons who don't have that handle or that facility of speaking standard English.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to do for my son. But then he's now being castigated to some extent for it. Like, okay, you're not authentic. You don't know your culture. You're not really a Jamaican because you don't know the language.
You don't know really fine, yeah.
But I think it's better. I think it's better that he knows to speak properly, because I see other students that does not know how to switch cross.
Right.
Because right here in Belize, you see students going up and they're talking, and then they talk Brad Krill.
Yeah.
And then they're on the media, and then they're and Mike, and
Well, Mike Pickney never do that.
right, and they don't know how to switch cross. Now, when your son knows to speak proper English, then they can they have a better appearance. Because when you cannot switch cross, then you can then start looking
Kind of illiterate.
right.
Plain
And
and
it's
You
straight.
know what you would have said?
right, and it's good to always know how to write properly. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I would, if I were you, I wouldn't feel bad that he knows only to speak proper English. He's going to catch on when he gets older.
When he's already 10, he'll be 11 in about 2 weeks. And
He's going
we
to get-
laugh at him at home sometimes too. Because
That's
like,
mean.
just since he came here and they've been, talking to him about it, I've been trying, and oh my goodness, he sounds weird. So I do laugh at him sometimes. But I'm saying it's a part of his identity, and as post-colonial peoples, we really have to know how to navigate both. And the problem that I've shared with Jalen before is that when you're bilingual, for want of a better word, so you know standard English and you know the patois, with us in Jamaica, we tend to have our problems with our H's, so we add them where they don't belong and subtract
I
them
remember
where
that
they should be. And because
conversation.
I know I struggle with that, I wanted to save my son from all of that. So, but it's interesting how people can stereotype and say what their expectations are of you because of a label that they've put on you.
Everybody.
Ada.
Yeah.
I want to ask the question on the workplace, because especially for me, finding a job is very
Hard?
it's a very strenuous process, because most employers are looking for bachelor or higher with 5 years minimum experience, and you have to be between a certain age range. And if no one is going to give you the entrance job
To get
straight
the
out of school,
experience.
where do you get the
I
experience?
found a way around that, because I've always been a reader. So when I was in high school, what I did, don't remember what they call it now, but I did 2 things. I volunteered.
Okay.
That's how you build your resume. Go in the area you want, if it's law, find a law firm or somebody who is a lawyer. You kind of like your articling or apprenticing. That's one. And there's a particular type of interview that slips me now. So you call the employer, the potential employer. You interview them. You tell them you're doing your own research. You're interested in the area. You find out as much as you can.
Right,
And you
this
see
down.
how you can build those skills. No, it's true. I did it. And interestingly, when I was in Barbados studying, I got a call for a job. Maybe I would be in insurance now, but I was studying. Because the first company that I did that with was an insurance company, just to find out, what do you do? I'm interested, and then see if I could somehow hone those skills and get experience. So that's how you get experience.
That's
Volunteer.
smart.
Volunteer.
You write it down, Jay?
I'm right
You're
taking an audio note,
Okay,
because you
got
don't
it.
want to type on camera.
Right.
It's very interesting. It's a very
Because everybody wants experience, and somebody looked at me once and said, would you want an inexperienced doctor? Would you want to be the first person that person does a surgery on? Because I felt like the regular young people, it's so unfair. Where are we to get this experience from? And when the
Right.
person said that to me, I was like, you're right. I wouldn't want to be,
very
a lab rat
true.
for a doctor, a junior
Right.
doctor. So
Right.
we have to find ways to gain experience. You don't have to always get paid. Volunteer.
It's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily want an inexperienced doctor practicing on me neither, because next year cut up in my side when really you're supposed to take blood from to my left arm. I mean, we're definitely going
Where
to
does that
have
leave us?
a big
Dead.
malpractice suit.
Well, what they say, lawyers, doctors bury their errors.
Oh,
Yeah.
With
The lawyers
that,
are more likely.
With that, let's go to our break. We'll be back in just a short time.
Not funny.
Always say that.
Hi friends, my name is Alan Parker and I am the Director of the Pearson Institute of Evangelism and World Missions at Southern Adventist University. And I want to share with you an exciting opportunity that will be coming to your church. We will be offering 5 seminars that are going to teach you how to share your faith, how to get Bible studies, how to give Bible studies, how to get decisions in those Bible studies, and also just how to be an effective witness wherever you are. These 5 seminar sessions are going to be held in partnership with the Central Belize Mission Conference, and your church is invited to participate. Don't miss this opportunity that is going to be starting Sunday, October 30 at 9 a.m. And as you come to these sessions, you will hear from seasoned evangelists who will use their many years of experience to share with you the best tools and strategies for sharing your faith. Won't you join us to receive this Bible Worker certification that will be taking place Sunday, October 30 at 9 a.m. right there in your church and in your community. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday, October 30.
Sabbath School members, do you know of someone who is an orphan? November 19th, 2022 is Orphans Day in all the Seventh-day Adventist churches around the world. The orphans in your congregation awaits your love and special ministry to them. Sabbath School Council, begin planning for Orphans Day. It's a ministry of compassion. Orphans will remember your ministry of compassion. November the 19th, 2022. Inter-American Division celebrates with the rest of the world Orphans Day.
Hi friends, my name is Alan Parker and I am the Director of the Pearson Institute of Evangelism and World Missions at Southern Adventist University. And I want to share with you an exciting opportunity that will be coming to your church. We will be offering 5 seminars that are going to teach you how to share your faith, how to get Bible studies, how to give Bible studies, how to get decisions in those Bible studies, and also just how to be an effective witness wherever you are. These 5 seminar sessions are going to be held in partnership with the Central Belize Mission Conference, and your church is invited to participate. Don't miss this opportunity that is going to be starting Sunday, October 30 at 9 a.m. And as you come to these sessions, you will hear from seasoned evangelists who will use their many years of experience to share with you the best tools and strategies for sharing your faith. Won't you join us to receive this Bible Worker certification that will be taking place Sunday, October 30 at 9 a.m. right there in your church and in your community. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday, October 30.
And just like that, we're back from our very short break. And you know what? At some point, we have stopped take breaks, you know, for make up for the extra time that we don't get when the show is about to end. I want to shift the attention now because we know the media stereotypes with the nice fit, the nice face, the career goals. Many organizations in their uniform policy, keyword there is uniform, have certain hairstyles they require and restrict hairstyles and attire. But my question is, what defines a professional looking person from an unprofessional looking one? Because apparently my haircut, or lack of cut, because it's really not cut, my hairstyle wouldn't fly in some workplaces. Right. And I often wondered, where did it start from? What defines a professional hairstyle? Anybody could jump at the question, not once.
I like to go back to history. I was a history student.
Oh, okay.
I've forgotten most of what I learned, but I'm thinking perhaps it's coming from the white dominant culture. They told us what was acceptable and what was not acceptable. And so that is how we as Africans, freed Africans, started thinking about skin color and hair. Black hair is not good. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, they had this saying in Jamaica, black and ugly and brown and pretty. Those phrases go hand in hand. Pretty hair, like your hair is pretty hair, bad hair. Do you understand? And I think that's perhaps where it's coming from.
So we've been whitewashed.
Indeed.
We've been taken away from our own culture because we tend to, because the white people came and told us
That's not cute.
that is not cute.
And it's wild. Because like earlier this year, I had my hair dyed with the same color that Jalen has his one, so we were like twinsies, right? And so when school closed for summer and when we came back after the break, because teachers goes back to school from August to prepare and all of that. And so there's me and another teacher who has the same exact colors at the end of her hair, and the principal told us, because she didn't have an issue with it because we were coming back from the pandemic and all of that, and so it was like, I don't want to say a free-for-all type thing, but it was like a little free-for-all type thing, right? And so when we went back, we had a little staff meeting and everything, and she pulled out the rule book and she said, it's not coming from me. I'm letting you know that unions say this not acceptable. And I was like, but I had already cut off the ends because the ends of my hair were a little bit dry and a little bit trashy.
Wow.
And so they needed to be cut anyways. And so I said, I'll just cut off all the dye and done. No problem, right? So when she was mentioning, I was like, say the end of man's done, God, miss. No problem. And so the other teacher was like, because she still had hers, she was like, but miss, why does it matter? What does it? And I agree, like, what does that have to do with the fact that my hair is not completely the natural color of my hair? My hair is combed. It looks neat. What does the color of my hair have to do with me being able to do my job? Right? And so she had to cut hers off. I mean, she has nice long hair. Nah, miss she.
She never missed nothing.
It not hurt she, right? But she still has a little bit underneath, because it was a lot. And she was like, I'm gonna cut the rest. I'm like, you do you then. But it's crazy because like, why is it that the way how I have my hair, how does that affect my ability to do my job?
That's
it doesn't make sense.
Right there. It's a question right there. And there's a very fine line between the two extremities being uniform and neat. And between being extreme and lawless. Right. I gave the example during the break, and I'm going to give it again because the cameras weren't on. When I started a certain high school, in fact, when I started EP York, I left from All Saints with a nice low fade. I had the freshest fade on the campus, you know. The day of orientation, the vice principal told me to stand up in front of the class, and he said, you see this, class? This is exactly what we mean by inappropriate haircuts. And, you know, if I went with this hairstyle, I could understand, you know, it being not with the uniform regulations, but I think there's some leeway they could have, you know, allowed me to have nicely cut sides, and it wouldn't be offensive, but it goes back to what society deems professional, uniform, neat, tidy, because those are the words they use in the uniform description and the regulations.
You know, sometimes I believe that, and it's just my belief, my opinion, and I'm putting that out there because, you know, I don't want to say that it comes from rules or it's sticking stone.
Right, stone.
Sometimes I believe people create these rules because of their own jealousy.
I like that opinion.
Okay.
I like that belief.
Because why would you become so strict with something that is
a part of like
it's the small. You realize that these rules from these workplaces, that they are the smallest little detail to things that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like you're here, I'm a grown adult. Why, if I'm not okay? Like Miss Julie mentioned, you have this set way how lawyers should wear their hair, how police officers should wear their hair because of that certain job that's from way back when.
Right.
And we all have this, though they have this look, but why being a teacher, my hair has to look a certain way, it's nicely combed. I mean, if it never combed properly, then I would see the problem there. But if I put a color to my hair, I am just enhancing my own hair.
Right.
It's not affecting you. It's not affecting you. It's not affecting nobody around here. Nobody. Because not even the children is affecting. They're learning to come from 1 to 10, right? Okay.
Well,
then there we go.
I think that is something that we will be wrestling for a long time to come because, believe it or not, in Jamaica in 2020, we had a dreadlock case. This is a primary school student, I think back in 2018. She was enrolled in school with her locks. Well, she was registered. And if I remember correctly, I think the mother was told that come September when school begins, she won't be allowed to come with locks because they had a school rule against braids and that sort of hairdo. And after the term started, of course, the mother decided to continue sending the child, and there was a Supreme Court ruling out, coming out of it. And in 2020, the ruling was that it was not an infringement of the child's constitutional rights for her to be required either to remove the locks or remove from school. And the parents were maintaining that they were Rastafarians. You know, Rastafarians were locked as a part of their, religion. And so I'm saying that happened in 2020. That's just the other day. And so we will have to decide as a people if we want to keep the standards or if we want to change them, and how do we change them, because this is the Supreme Court's ruling, right? So they went through the legal routes and they were still disappointed. So maybe we would have to embrace our own laws and revisit them or something.
Talking about laws, don't we have something there that we would like to share?
Yes. We mentioned last week about bullying and the whole emphasis on the cyberspace bullying, because really bullying in a classroom is very different from bullying online, because instead of 35, it's roughly 30 children in a classroom.
Right.
You have probably 35,000 people at your audience. So, or on-staff magistrate provided us with some of Belize's own legislation on cybercrime. Let me see. I'm not a lawyer, so if I know, bring these thoughts across properly. Ms. Juliet, please feel free to intervene. It says a service provider who fails to comply with the requirements under subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $20,000 and to a term of imprisonment for 3 years.
This is the Cybercrime Act?
The dog in the bottom, Jillian.
It's a little bit further down.
C.
Okay. C. Okay.
Yes, number 15.
Cybercrime threatens a member of the other person's family with violence. I guess these are offenses.
You have to start from 15, where it says 15.1, and then it goes A,
Thank you. Apparently reading is a problem. A person commits an offense who, with intent to compel another person to do or refrain from doing any act, uses a computer system to publish or transmit computer data that A, intimidates the other person, B, threatens the other person with violence or damage to property, or C, threatens a member of the other person's family with violence. Number 2, for the purpose of this section, intermediate means to cause in the mind of a reasonable person an apprehension of injury to the person, to a member of the person's family, or to a dependent of the person, or of violence or damage to the person's property, or to cause a person substantial emotional distress. Ooh, that's the one.
Then section 11 speaks about child luring. So we can't just have any kind of conversations with children. If you will commit an offense if you use a computer system to communicate with a child with the intent to induce the child to engage in a sexual conversation. So this is just talking or sexual activity with the child. B, with the intent to encourage the child to produce child pornography. C, with the intent to arrange a meeting with the child for the purpose of abusing the child or engaging in sexual activity, right? And it is important too to note that under, is it section 13, that if you receive unlawful information, be it a video, an audio, because you know people will send voice notes that are explicit or whatever, and you're not the creator of it, but if you share it, if you publish it, that's also an offense. So we have to be responsible with how we use social media. So it's not that, oh well, it's not me video the person, it's not me create the voice note, it's not me take the picture. And a lot of times we have to be so careful because sometimes I don't even know who sends me stuff on my phone, things that I know that are explicit, especially concerning children. You know, things will come to your phone. Right. If I share that with somebody, then I also become, yes, an accomplice. So we have to be responsible in how we use this. And as you say, the audience is wider. So if it is, whether by consent, because some persons are in consensual relationship, even children, with their boyfriends, they fall out and the boyfriend has compromising videos or photos, and they publish it on Facebook, on WhatsApp, wherever. It is a crime.
Right.
It is a crime.
And then the thing is, they won't blame the person who sent it.
It's the girl. Why did she do that?
Right. This brings me to the question as to what are some strategies and reinforcement message that we can set into action for these younger generation so that they don't fall into this type of gang. Like I said, I call this a type of gang because they're ganging up against somebody.
Right.
So what can we do to help them to not fall into the same trap?
Well, I love to tell my son, you'll soon be 12, and at 12 you can be charged for offenses that are criminal.
Oh, wow.
No, sometimes you have to put the fear of God in them. Okay? And the second thing, we have to, as a society, as parents, caregivers, mentors, teachers, church brothers and sisters, we have to get back to the stage where we're teaching values to our kids. Right. All right? Teaching them what is right, what is wrong, what is expected. Do to others what you would want them to do to you, and don't do what you wouldn't want done. We have to get back to the basics, and we have to be responsible in how we handle social media and devices, because it can be good or it can be used in a bad way. It's the use we make of it. So I think, and we have to let our kids know, or sometimes it's not even children, because adults have been known to suffer from these stereotypes and bullying and all of that. You have to know what your self-worth is. And as Christians, we know our self-worth comes from being made in the image of God. If I put value on myself, then it should help to mitigate against another person who would want me to feel bad because I don't look the way you think I should or speak the way you think I should. So those are some methods, I think.
What if they come from a family of bullies?
Right, that's a good thing, because like in my class, oh wow. every day is a struggle with my class when it comes to like, I have to tell them, you have to be nice, you're not supposed to say that. And it's a struggle because they're used to being able to say what they want, blurt out what they want, and then if I say something, let's say I catch one, like let's say, oh, Aislinn said this, but I never hear. But I heard Jalen said something and I tell Jalen will look at me and say, but you never tell Aislinn nothing. I didn't hear Aislinn say anything. It's not, I'm not saying that it's right, but if I didn't hear, how can I punish her if I don't hear? I heard you loud and clear.
Wow, okay.
But I didn't hear Aislinn. Aislinn probably said under her breath. So it's hard to like say, all right, you don't do this because you shouldn't do that because of this. And then you say, oh, but whatever. I understand that, but if I catch her, I'll let her know that it's wrong. So it's a thing of not only from the teacher's perspective or point, but you have to get it from home too. And then some parents have some very nasty attitudes. Ooh. And so that doesn't help. And so when they come to school, they feel like they can bully another student or say, oh, well, you like she, because I don't have favorites in my class. And I keep telling my students this, I don't have favorites. But they feel like because I tell one student something and I don't tell the other, oh, that's your favorite. No, it's
Teacher's
just
pets.
Right? So it has to come from both at home and from whoever is trying to instill that quality or that character in that child, not just from one person.
So teachers do have a bigger job to do, because if they're not getting these their moral values shaped at home, then this is where the teachers come in and help there. So you guys have to be instilling in your devotion, in your Bible time, whatever time you call it, moral values. And this is where we teach these stories with morals after it.
Well, you're talking about teachers. What about the police officers and the court system that deals with those who apparently have not learned how to control themselves and how to behave?
True.
Well, they say you can't bend a grown tree.
You can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Right, you can't curl the house that
can't force them to drink the water. If you want to turn up, make it turn up.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. We end up mopping, the justice system ends up trying to mop up the failure of the home. The home has to be foundation.
It's very true. It's very true. I want to, because Miss Juliet, when I had to slightly convince her to come on the show. When we were discussing the topic beforehand, you mentioned, and I want to ask you this question. Is it possible that some of these stereotypes we mentioned throughout the episode today have infiltrated our churches, and what does it look like there? Final part, what part does or should the church play in preventing or correcting such occurrences?
Well, the challenge always is that the church is a part of the society, whether we like it or not.
Right.
So we live in the same social setting like the rest of the population. So we do see it creeping up in church. And just in terms of career, like I said, somebody said, oh, you can't be a lawyer and be a Christian, right? Oh, you can't be a Christian, you're wearing makeup, you're doing nail polish, your hair is colored. It is in the church. And I guess each church will have to decide how they will deal with it. because my understanding of the scripture is that when the love of God comes in my heart, it's supposed to change me and make me a better person. And I'm supposed to love that other person. Sometimes we want to do the job of the Holy Spirit. So we don't wait for the Holy Spirit to change me. You want to come and dictate to me the changes that I need to make in order to be accepted by God.
Right.
And so therein lies the problem. The church will have to decide the way forward, but as individuals, I guess based on our relationship with God and our understanding of the Bible, we make the change of the man in the mirror then, so to speak.
I have to go back on the one you said about the makeup, because I remember having this conversation with someone about makeup, right? And I asked them, when did Jesus start hiring extra Holy Spirit? You know? Because from last I remember, I cannot see him, I cannot touch him, but he does changes in hearts, right? So who are you to say that my makeup is offensive? I put it on. I mean, I understand that, yes, our religion has this thing, but who wants to come on the camera and look a little greasy, you know? So I make sure I apply it.
Wow.
But seriously, when did the Holy Spirit start? I mean, when did Jesus start hiring extra spirits, you know? I don't remember him ever saying in the scriptures that he did. And especially humanly. We have about 5 more minutes, so let's come to our wrap-up and our final words. Do you guys have any encouraging words or statements that you would like to leave with our viewers today about this topic that we have been dissecting today?
Because I might forget.
Oh, wow, okay.
Or somebody might take what I want to say. In terms of like the standards and bullying and all of that, my thing is that you don't let someone else tell you, oh, your hair can't look like that because it needs to look like mine. Don't let someone else tell you what their standard of beauty is. Like, God didn't specify in the Bible that beauty looks like Aislinn. And if it doesn't look like Aislinn, it's not beauty. Or handsome doesn't look like Jalen.
Well, I mean, hold on.
No, what I'm saying is there isn't a specific standard as to what beauty or handsomeness looks like. So no one should come and tell you, oh, you're not handsome or you're not beautiful because this is how you should look. You be you. You do you. Whatever you feel comfortable with your hair or with your skin. Don't make nobody say, oh, for she's skin pretty. Is it real? Did she Photoshop it? Right? No, but for real. Like, I have black spots on my, as in like moles. I have moles. Are you going to tell me that my moles make me ugly because your face doesn't have moles?
Yeah.
No. Right. So your standard of beauty is how you look. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.
Juliet?
I don't know how short I can sum it up, but it's really serious because even adults are affected by the standards that the media portrays of how you should look and feel, right? And I'm not sure if the older generation is hopeless, I don't know.
Probably.
But definitely for the younger ones, we have to pour into them, build them up, because sometimes it's our own words, how I speak to my child. Oh, you're stupid, you're ugly. We have to try to build them from the inside out so that when they come under pressure, they can know I'm important, I'm special, and I will not break under your concept of what you think I should be.
Right. I mean, if everybody in the world looked like me, then it's not going to be a bad thing, but it's going to be very boring.
Right? Like,
That's
I don't want.
very boring. Imagine all the flowers in this world was yellow.
No.
Yellow is an ugly color.
Right. It's going to be boring. It's going to be boring. So when God was creating each and every one of us, He had us specifically on his mind. And so when he was forming us, it says that he made us in his image. So I guess when I look in the mirror, I look like God.
Amen.
Because that's what the Bible tells me. And so my encouragement would be to base your standards, or base your this look that you have on what you have, because you can't base it off of somebody else.
They don't look like you.
They will never look like you. Even twins don't look alike. They don't have the same fingerprints.
They're very tricky.
I mean, so do not pick on other people just because
They don't look like you.
they don't look like you.
You know, I guess great minds think alike, because Ethan just said the very same thing I was going to say. So look at me collecting it at the last minute. We talked about all the appearance-wise, but in other aspects of your life, you know, because we didn't necessarily touch much on career. By 25, some people already completed a lot, and I reached some of them yet. But we're getting there. But that doesn't mean I should feel frustrated or disappointed or like I'm not getting anywhere in life because the media tells me that this is what the perfect life should look like. Your perfect life should look like God's life, because we are formed in his image and we are commissioned to be Christ-like if we have any intentions of walking through the pearly gates.
Some people's straight lines look different.
Right.
Because my straight line might have a wally bend.
What's like
Yours,
this?
right?
Yeah.
Mine's might got a huge curve.
I mean, the roads are straight, but when you reach at certain points, it has a curve, right? But it's straight. I mean, that's how it is. Well, guys, we thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will definitely see you guys next week. Of course, this is your favorite show.
Right.
Your favorite one. So make sure that next week you join us. Thank you and goodbye.
As a non-profit organization, the Adventist Television Network solely relies on your financial support. By partnering with us through a monthly donation, you will help us to continue to fulfill the mission in taking the gospel into all the world. For more information, please call 613-9351 or email us at atnfin@cbm.belizeunion.org. Thank you for your prayers and support of the ATN ministry, and together we may hasten the soon coming of our Lord Jesus Christ.